Hey, it is 9:30. It is time for the Friday Night Hangout. This is where we grab a brew, shoot the breeze, and interact with you live on the internet. Got a great panel here tonight. Hopefully we can get a few more people jumping in, barring technical difficulties and Christmas party season is upon us here. So we'll get that going on here, and we'll get settled in, let you guys know what is going on the Hangouts if you haven't joined us before. This is a live chat, interactive. We want you to comment via Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and on thevotingchores.com, and we'll read your comments as we go along. If you are watching the replay or midstream, you want to watch from the beginning, replay will start about 15 minutes once we're done. And, of course, you get the audio-only podcast version of the show, and that is always a good, entertaining listen to. Let's start off with a round of introductions, and let's start all the way in Wallace, Nova Scotia, with Keith Elliott Stone. We'll move on here to Cape Breton, and we got Carrie with us here tonight. Flipping over to Dartmouth, we got Lori with us tonight. And we got Dan. He's jumping in here. He's connecting a little late, but he'll jump in here momentarily. Oh, no, tried to jump in. And we're hoping to have Lee with us also, and maybe Krista. So you never know. So we might have a full house once we're all said and done here. So we got a few people jumping in. Oh, and there's Dan. We're just doing the round of intros to everybody. So there's Dan from Dartmouth with us tonight.
Hello.
All right. So we got that going on, and we got a few people jumping in here. So it's great. And again, we want some comments from you via Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and on the Voting Trolls website. Let's start off the way that we normally do, which is what we are drinking tonight. So let's start off with Lori in Dartmouth. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, everybody, I am drinking Kitty Bitty Iceberg beer. It's a lovely lager and 4.5%. So I'm starting easy and working my way up to oblivion.
All right. Well done. Let's move on to Carrie. Carrie, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking some Sea Fever rum. I have the coffee maple rum. It's kind of tasty. For those of you who don't know, my second passion besides beer, other than my wife, is rum, and I like it in almost any flavor.
No, go ahead, Lori.
Is that the new stuff out of Authentic Coast out of Guysborough?
You betcha.
Oh, okay.
Very tasty.
Comes in what, 3 flavors, I think, eh?
3 flavors: amber, spiced, and the coffee maple. I was hoping they had the coffee maple or the spiced. Either one. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm drinking rum.
Excellent, Carrie. Let's move on with Keith. Keith, what are you drinking tonight?
PICAROONS Upstream Ale. Had this one selling for a couple months.
Ooh.
Nice.
I've got some of mine are in transit.
It's better now than it was when I first bought it. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Dan, what are you drinking tonight?
I saw this one in the store and I thought it would be interesting. The North Brewing Company. I've got the Belgian API. So I've got that one and also the Milk Stout.
Oh yes, 2 good choices there.
Yeah. So
Good stuff.
I'm doing the North today.
All right. Well, the Belgian IPA is really, really good. I think that's one of my favorite ones from North. Other than what I got tonight, which is also got North, but I got the. You can see here, I got the Glenora barrel-aged dark, strong dark, which is a 10.5% beer.
Shut up.
37 IBUs, so just starting to get a little bit of bite.
Wow.
Now here's the funny thing.
Oh.
As you can see, it's not very dark. It looks like, you know,
No.
it looks more Glenora than Belgian dark. Anyway, this is nice. I'm letting it warm up here. I'm taking my time with this.
Where did you get that one, Jim?
Got that at North. Went to the brewery.
So there's some of the 650s at the brewery too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now,
I'm going to visit them tomorrow at Alderney, I think, and fill up some of my bottles.
It'll be worth it here. Now, just to give you a hint, you get this really nice sugary Belgian sugar kind of smell to it here, and a very smooth Glenora taste there. It warms you up a little slow, but I think this needs to be really room temperature. I don't think it needs to be cold here, but definitely a bottle to age, I think. So get it while it lasts. So they got about, I don't know. I think they said 1,000 bottles.
Yeah.
I think so. Might last a couple weeks, but and also probably the only thing that's probably going to last is that it is $11 a bottle. That's the other thing. So
yeah,
but it's in bottle format, so I think it's a big step up from last year where it was just growlers.
Yeah.
So I think you get a better deal there. All right, so we got a number of people jumping in. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in for the hangout. Let's get going here with the first topic.
Actually, Jim, before you do the first topic,
yes.
I actually wanted to do some, going back to one of the topics of discussion from last week. I actually had my first bear sighting.
Oh, yes. Where?
And I just wanted to pass it along. So here's some footage I caught of the bear. Actually, fancy enough, it was both types of bear that I found. It was an incredible, like, twofer. Astounding. Nature at its best in the wild. Incredible. Beautiful. It's just beautiful.
And that was at a Columbus Blue Jackets hockey game.
Oh, just magnificent.
That's good stuff. All right, let's start with the first topic here, which is we're all rich kids. Gas prices dropped to the lowest level in like 5 years, 6 years. With all that extra money that it's not going in your gas tank.
I was gobsmacked, actually, that it dropped as much as it did, because some people were saying 4 cents, some people were saying, I think New Brunswick only went down 2, did they? And then all of a sudden this morning they were like, it's less than 1.10, and I was like, holy crap.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Exactly.
It is. And as we say with the actual prices to people, which is 107.6 cents a liter, so $1.07 a liter, people are like, damn, that's still pretty expensive, yo. And in Alberta, it's 90-something cents a liter. Compared to what it was just 2 weeks ago or a couple weeks ago, which was the 120 a liter. Your standard compact hatchback car, it was costing you like $60 to fill up. Now, a little more, $40, $42, $44.
But that's the thing. I could never tell you the price of gas from 1 week to the next, because when I need gas, I fill up my truck. It's as simple as that. It's not like I drive all over hell and creation. I need the gas, so I buy it. It's kind of bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to see a lower price, but I'm pretty bad for not being able to tell you what the price is on a day-to-day basis.
So
now you're in the situation.
No, sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say there, and then Lori can jump in there. Keith is in a situation there where you don't necessarily put a lot of kilometers during the week there. You got a fairly short commute and stuff, right?
Yep.
Or have you been increasing the kilometers?
No, I only put about 10,000 a year on my truck.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
So I agree. Lori.
What I've started doing is, and I don't know, I'm not advocating a certain gas supplier, but with Petrocan, I have the 5 cents off a liter as well. So for me, it's like $1.02 now, right? Because so it does make a difference. Like, it's, for me right now, it's probably, I have a PT Cruiser, which consumes a lot of gas compared to what I expected. So, dropping, because I think at one point, maybe even 3 months ago, wasn't it up around 140? So yeah, so now at like 102 for me, to fill up my PT Cruiser saves me $5-6, which it's a beer.
Yeah.
Priorities, come on, right?
That's perspective. That's a perspective, yes.
So the question is, how is this translating to home oil costs as well? Because that's actually where it really starts to hurt too.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Now we just had our
down
fill up
5 cents last week, I think. After much complaining by homeowners, basically.
Well, I gotta say, we just got our tank filled up with oil, heating oil, 2 weeks ago, and I see the invoice on the fridge right there, and I can't see how much it is, but the next fill up, because winter, we probably will get another fill up in January, February, well, probably February or maybe even March, but the March one's going to be the killer, because that's the one where the tank gets its lowest, and the bill is insane for us, which was like $750. So I'm hoping we'll be able.
What cost you?
Well, I don't know how much they filled up from last time. We switched tanks, so I don't know what a full tank.
Wow, that's like a winter's worth of wood for me.
Oh yeah, no, it's insane.
Wow.
Here, so
being an ex-Ontarian, I miss having the natural gas so badly. That was like one of the biggest shocks moving to this province was having oil. Well, first of all, trying to figure out how that all works, because I know how a natural gas furnace works, but the oil system blows my mind. And then the cost of the oil too, and then all the house insurance that goes along with it, and all the rules and regulations. It's just boggles the mind.
it is nutty.
Yeah.
When I went to buy this place, that was one of the rules that I gave the realtor, was like, I'm not interested in a house that's heated with oil. I would take on a wood furnace. I would take on almost anything else. I'm not entertaining oil.
I agree with you
Yeah, so what I have now is a heat pump with natural gas as a backup. So I think I just got my natural gas bill, and in 2 months I used $11.72 worth of gas.
That's because you have the heat pump, right?
I have a heat pump, but I also have my stove and my
Electricity.
dryer. Yeah. So
Heat pumps are the way to go, for sure.
Wow.
yeah. So
Unreal.
yeah, and I think even in the wintertime, like, I think last year January was the biggest consumption, because of course the heat pump kicks out at a certain temperature, so then it goes to the natural gas backup, and I think it might have been $40 worth of natural gas in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's all move to Lori's place.
Bring beer.
Yeah.
You're laughing now,
problem.
but
Yeah.
Carrie, up in Cape Breton, you got brutal winters up there.
Yeah.
What's your situation?
I enjoy seeing gas prices go down, because I have to commute 20 kilometers every day, and between the two of us, we were spending over $600 a month just on gasoline.
Wow.
God, Carrie, that hurts me.
That's a lot. So it means that I don't do what I enjoy doing. Like, I can't go geocaching for long hours, because none of the caches are close to me now. So I got to run away and get a lot further away, and it gets expensive. So that's one of those hobbies that I've That's one of the hobbies that I like that I've gotten away from. And haven't geocached in a long time. So because of that, so no. And when that happens, and your lifestyle just changes just a little bit, and you get sedentary and all that other kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing it go way down, and we don't need it to go. We need it to go further now because if the government took a lot of taxes off, we'd be even a lot happier.
Yeah, and then you have this in Nova Scotia. You got the tax on the tax, and at first you had the Liberals, we're going to do something about it, and now they're in, and we're not so enthused about doing anything about it anymore, and all this stuff. So, as Keith said, it's like, everybody needs gas. Like, you pay what you have to pay because you kind of need it, regardless if it's heating or gas, your car, or whatever, right? So.
And it's not going to stop anybody, and it's not going to stop the Americans that run down the highway at let me see, 40 cars per 300 meters. It's not going to stop them.
40 car? What's that measurement? 40 cars per 300 meters? I don't get
40 cars per 300 meters when they're on their highway, almost constant on their highway.
Right.
Oh.
Well, it affects us too in terms of food because everything's on trucks instead of trains. So you get all that stuff.
Yeah,
but anyway, we're getting into the weeds of stuff here, but it's supposed to be the happy-go-lucky hangout, not the dreary.
Do I have to bring the bear back? Is that what we need?
I'm getting bummed out over here.
Might need it for the overtime segment. We're gonna do a quick check on comments and let everybody know that we are going to be reading your comments. Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and I've seen a few people retweeting and tweeting here on the Twitter. But Keith, you're monitoring the Avoiding Chores website or Twitter. Do you see anything going on there? Or?
Twitter.
Not quite?
Nope.
Okay. I was seeing a bunch of retweets here, but one just came in here. Ashley says here, might I recommend North Saison?
Yeah.
And that's what she's drinking right now. She attached a very nice picture of the Saison. It is nice. Now, is it the L'Acadie Saison? Because that is just delicious. Have you guys tried the North L'Acadie Saison? Is it still available? I don't know if it is or not.
Is that the one that was mixed with the wine? No.
Yeah, with the wine and like 15 pounds of honey.
Oh, I didn't try that.
It was really good.
Was it?
So,
tell us how you really feel.
Well, you know what? It's 10.5 from this barrel age stuff. But thanks for Ashley for sending in that great-looking beer glass picture there. Carrie, you're checking out the YouTube. You got any comments on the YouTube?
One. GC Storm says, hi all. Garrison wasn't able to release their Spruce today, but he's still drinking Garrison Spruce from 2012. And it colored well. Oh, hey, that's
nice.
Good.
Well, speaking of Garrison, might as well mention here that they aged last year's Spruce beer in a few Jim Beam barrels. So they're going to release that pretty darn soon, probably after Christmas there. So that should be pretty interesting. But I'm definitely going to get my hands on that. Like December is going to be a barrel age craziness month here for beer. But since we're out of here, might as well say a few words of some of our friends or supporters here at Avoiding Chores. North Brewing, their barrel aged Dark Belgian is out, as I said here, out at the brewery. Get it now, 10.5%. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Trail Shop, they're going to have a ski wax workshop during the Martock gear swap tomorrow at the Martock Ski Hill. Always good to have some pointers on that when you're waxing up your skis for the upcoming cross-country ski season. INREACH Canada, if you're out in the backwoods, you want a two-way communication device, you can get the INREACH, and there's 4 easy ways you can activate your device, which is pick your device, create your account, activate, and then sync it with your smartphone. Really good stuff here. All right, any other, I got to see another thing here on Twitter. What these old things says
That's Bridget.
here.
Hey, Bridget.
Bridget. I'm with North Belgian IPA, and she got that at Harvest Wines. And she asked, what's Friday Night Hangout? So so one of you will have to reply to the tweet with the link there. So
I will.
We can get that going on here. So, all right, a lot of good stuff here. We've got a few people watching again. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll have a good show here tonight. It already is a good show. Great panel as usual. All right, moving on to the next topic here, which is interesting one. Hunting in Nova Scotia on Sundays is currently prohibited. The one day of the week where people can go in the woods and not get shot at, especially if you go into Lunenburg County or some other counties. But the Liberals are thinking about rescinding that, saying that it's a big drain on revenue. People are going to other provinces to hunt on Sundays. And they're thinking of just repealing it, so you can go and hunt 7 days a week. Personally, I think that's a bad idea. It's nice to have one day. Now, you're always going to have people going to go in the woods shooting guns on Sundays, but having that one day where you can actually go into the woods for a nice little hike with the dog and not have to wear safety orange.
You should bring orange anyway on a Sunday, though.
Yeah, safety. Yeah, exactly. So you don't need to wear safety orange much like this really nice hat.
But maybe they want to wear that hat. Think about it.
Oh, and you know what? Pre-order until Monday, folks. And right now, this is the #1 selection because of the safety orange. People want to be safe. But really, why? This reasoning of revenue, losing revenue to other places.
Yeah, that's not watertight at all.
What, a bunch of guys, I'll just say guys, but a bunch of guys from Lunenburg or Cape Breton, they're going to jump on a plane, fly to Ontario, and do some big game hunting on Sunday because they can?
I think you're going to call your jets for a day and then go back at hunting, I think is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
No, I don't buy that. It's nice to have one day, but regardless, you should wear your hunter orange. Last Sunday, my father and one of my sons and I, we were out getting some brush for Christmas, put around the house, and heard a couple of shots. So it's, you should wear the hunter orange regardless, but I do agree Sunday should be one day where you don't have to listen to that or see the hunters driving up and down the road all day long.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. I did a hike in Lunenburg County on a trail, very nice trail, but it was right adjacent to the Lunenburg Gun and Rod Club. So during my hike for the 2 hours I was out, I was hearing gunshots the whole time. And it was just one guy. I think I counted like 200 shots. It was ridiculous. But I kind of knew that there was a gun range kind of that way while I was hiking, but when you're out, like he said, and you're hearing shots, it's a little nervous. Like, for example, a year or two ago, we go to the dog park, a park, we bring the dogs out, not far from the house here. There's houses a few hundred meters away. We're there in the middle of the green space, and we hear gunshots, close gunshots. You're within the city core. You're surrounded by highways and stuff like that. Like, this is the time of year where hunters, they go batshit insane, and doesn't matter. That doesn't seem to the rules don't seem to apply, or they just get crazy with the hunt there. So I don't know if there's any hunters in the group, Lori.
No, but I am a Newfoundlander, and my sister-in-law hunts, my brother-in-law hunts, my father hunted. Newfoundland has Sunday hunting, like Sunday shopping. But here's my thing about the lost revenue. I think that is a thin excuse at best, because really, if you're going to go hunting for a week or whatever, I can't see that being able to hunt on Sunday or not being able to hunt on Sunday is going to be a game changer, because really, for most of the big game hunters, they're going to go wherever they want to go, and they're going to abide or not by the regulations. So to say that we're losing revenue because of non-Sunday hunting, I'm not sure I really understand the correlation. There's plenty of provinces that have Sunday hunting, but like I said, big game hunters, what I call big game is like moose and bear and caribou or whatever, they go to where the actual species is. And it's not about the luxury of being able to shoot on Sunday, it's about being able to hunt where they think they can find their meat. And so I'm not really sure that argument is truly valid.
I'll just jump in quickly, and I'll let the Carrie and Dan jump in there. You mentioned moose. Mainland moose in Nova Scotia is endangered. You can't hunt them. So what's the point? Well, what's the other big game, which is bear, which they have different time periods for that.
Deer season's all over tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. So, Carrie, what do you think?
Well, I think it's this way. If you have a weekend off to go hunting, you're going to go drive to where you're going to get on a Friday night, set up your camp, go hunting all day Saturday until you get it, and if you do get your prize, then you're going to celebrate, and then Sunday it's time to go home.
Yeah.
So there couldn't be any, it's just you can have your. I've done fishing trips like this. Sunday is the time to go home. You're not going to be throwing a line in the water or pulling the trigger on Sunday morning.
You're breaking down. Breaking down your camp. You're absolutely right, Gary.
Yeah, unless you're the guy who didn't get anything and you're sitting there going, "Oh no, man, I need it. Gotta hurry up."
Well, then you're drinking then, so you're not fit to shoot.
Yeah. So that's my theory on it. I mean, plan your hunting trips around the week and the weekend, and if you're going to go for it, plan it that way.
Dan, what do you think?
He touched on the point that I was going to bring up exactly, is the fact that Sunday is typically your pack and go day. So unless, there's no real need for it. And like you said before in various comments in the fact, you may lose that, $5 from the hunters that want to go hunting that day. But then if the government really wanted to be proactive, they could promote the fact that Nova Scotia is a place to be on a Sunday for nature hikes and such, because we make it a safer environment for those people. So I think it's just a lack of creativity on the part of the government to deal with the situation.
Yeah, it just again, I can know my parents used to cook at a hunting camp, and when people come from away to go hunting, they don't come for a weekend. They come for a week. Right? They come for a week in moose season. They come for a week for bear season. So one of those days being a Sunday, being able to shoot or not, I don't see it being a big deterrent.
And I guess the last point here, being from New Brunswick, we went up to visit the folks there in November. I didn't see my brother-in-law because November is deer season up there, and they spend 3 weeks. 3 weeks going to their camp, which is an RV, and that's it. That's their spring break. That's their time to do it here.
Yeah, if they get anything.
Yeah,
and they'll have one tag or two tags. I don't know how the hell it works there, but if they do, so the rest of it is, I'm walking around the woods. I'm sitting in the stand, waiting. What are they doing after that? They're having their
Exactly. All right, let's. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say, do we have a new person joining in here?
Lee is trying to get in.
Lee is trying to get in here. Lee has a very great. He has probably the best avatar of the week with the luchador mask, Mexican wrestling mask. But Let's do a quick round of comments and give a chance for the boys here to refresh the YouTube and Voiding Chores or Twitter, whatever you see here. We're grabbing your comments from Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and just quickly here, I see Trudy from BC. She tweeted here, say, hi, peeps, tuning in with a Phillips Octofox. Beer, I assume. Haven't heard of that one before. But great to have Trudy jumping in here. Keith, is there anything on your end?
On the Avoiding Chores site?
Yeah.
There's a couple of comments from Bluefin.
Oh.
He says, hi gang, a little late tonight. I may not get to see the whole show this week as I'm offshore, and this week we're having internet issues on the rig for the past 2 days. I'm just drinking a cup of tea tonight, and I'm hoping to get home on Monday, so I'll not miss next week's show. And then he goes on to say, here in Newfoundland we've had Sunday hunting for quite a while now. I prefer to have one free day a week to not have to worry about people shooting in the woods. In October I was hiking and hammock camping on the East Coast Trail. My hammock is brown, so I tied trailblazing tape to several areas of it to highlight that it is not a moose, as from a distance it may be hard to tell what it is. I should always keep Sunday hunting free.
Carrie, what we got on YouTube, if we have
Nothing.
Nothing.
Come on, YouTube. Come on.
What's going on? I know it's Christmas party season, folks. Where is
Dare them, Lori. You have to dare them.
There's not enough cats in our video and fart jokes, I think.
I haven't swore yet, so that'll draw me in.
Jesus, fuck.
Jesus.
I think.
All right, Lee's been trying for the last hour trying to get into the Hangout. Lee, can you say something to see if your audio works? Nope. Nope.
No, we can lip sync it, we can lip read it, but we can't hear him.
We can interpret your emotions from your face to say that your computer is a piece of crap. You want to throw it out the window. That's what I'm getting from your expression. But anyway, very frustrating. No idea. Yeah, which is really, if you're watching live, you'll see Lee's icon here, and you can see his head. He can hear us. He can't communicate back. His mic, something's up. Very frustrating. Keith mentioned that has happened to him a few times here, but yeah. Good night, Lee.
Good night, Lee.
You tried. Very frustrating. Let's do a quick round. What we're drinking tonight, and Dan, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, out of the 2 bottles, I decided to start off with the Belgian IPA. Leathery smooth down the throat.
Nice. What's the ABV behind on the bottle there?
Just a paltry 6.6. So I had to drink 2 of these to catch up to you then, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
Fine. Here, there. Take care of that. There. As you demanded.
Keith, what are you drinking tonight?
Just open this puppy right here.
Oh, best better. Doing PICAROONS tonight.
PICAROONS tonight, that's right.
Have you seen the winter warmer in your neck of the woods?
No, I haven't.
No.
Not yet.
I'm hoping when I do my little road trip to PI, I might be able to see something on when we do our short little segment in New Brunswick. Kerry, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Sea Fever rum, the coffee maple rum, and I'm saying I am enjoying it. Really nice.
Can you put the label? Yeah, put the label up close so we can get a better look at this. A brand new Nova Scotia rum.
What do you use for mix, Carrie?
Ice cubes. This one
You're
is
a man
one of those
after my heart.
Saliva.
Yeah.
Tears, fists.
Tears, yeah. Yeah.
This is
Bad
one of those rums that
decisions.
you need to drink straight. It's blended real nice. It's coffee maple rum, and the first mouthfuls are a little bit different because the coffee taste comes right back on your on the back of your tongue. But after that, after you put it on ice and let it chill down a little bit, it tastes really good. It would probably be really, really good on with a coffee, hot toddy, for a wake up if you have to do it in the morning like that. But other than that, it's not so bad. I'm looking forward to trying to taste one of their other rums. And that's where I'm going to plug my thing tonight, though.
All right. And that is from Authentic Seacoast, the operation down in Guysborough. They do the Rare Bird beers. They do the coffee, yes.
Full steam.
Full steam.
Full steam. Me and Keith were the big Full Steam fans. So a lot of stuff going on there. Interesting products, great packaging, great branding, always from the group.
Good stuff.
Sure.
Good stuff.
Lori, what are you drinking tonight? I see you switch beers.
I have switched to Boxing Rock Unobtainium.
I thought you obtained the U889.
Oh shit! Yes, of course I've obtained the U889. What are you, crazy? Christ! I haunted the people at Harvest Wines. I got 4. And so I think what's going to happen is Krista and I are going to New Year's Eve, because we're going to go to the Stubborn Goat for their soiree. I think I'm going to take last year's U889 and this year's U889, and we're going to try those and kind of give our thoughts then to the next Friday night hangout, because I've saved one from last year. Just kind of.
I think it's called Crossing the Streams.
Whatever you want to call it, Dan, it's going to be delicious. But I must say, this Unobtainium, and again, I think I haunted poor Harvest Wines, and this one is 5% for those of you who've not had it. It's an intrepid amber ale, and it's really nice. Like, I enjoyed it in the bottle and in cask, because I had it down at Stillwell a couple of times, and at the Stubborn Goat from cask, and it's really both ways are delightful, which is why I continue to drink it.
I just got an update. My wife, my lovely wife, brought me my bottle of U889 that I was working on after supper. There's still some left in the bottle. I kind of forgot I had some left in the bottle, so I'll be in.
So what you think, Jim?
You know what? I think the body's a little thinner than it was last year.
Really?
Yeah, but this is a beer that you need to cellar. You buy it.
Yeah.
You put it downstairs underneath the stair. You know, you go in the basement and you open that little closet door with the stairs. You shove it in there. Leave it there for 4 or 5 months until the snow melts. It'll be fantastic. But
it was funny. One of the guys I spoke to, I think it was he works at Harvest Wines, and his name just escapes me right at this second, because of course I'm Cullberian, because I started with North Brewing even before the show started. But he bought a case, and he said he's cellaring it for a year, and you know, for a couple of years, and going to take one out every so often just to see how it goes, right?
Oh, you were talking to Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Yes.
He posted his picture on Instagram, and I said, "Man, that was one expensive case."
Yeah, because they're like $11, I think it was.
They're 10. Yeah, they're 10 a bottle. Yeah. So not cheap. So it was a very expensive beer day, guys. Okay, get some of that stuff. Anyway, all right, and I am still drinking North Glenora Barrel Aged Dark Belgian Dark, 10.5%. Was hand bottled on the 3rd of December. They can do about 200 bottles an hour. You notice here, not quite dark. It pours like the Glenora stuff. Like it lightened it up a bit here, but it is really good as it warms up. And my tummy is nice and warm from that 10.5%.
I wonder if I plead on avoiding chores to North Brewing, I wonder if they'll do the collab with Java Blend like they did last year.
It may work. We hollered for farmhouse. For how long, Jim?
Oh, yeah, for a little while there, and it came back better than ever.
Yeah, that's right. It did.
Well, North they catch the hangout when they can there, but I think now with their bottling line, I think they're just bottling, hand capping the bottles there. Anyway,
I'll
all right,
just keep
that's
harassing them.
Oh,
And they can multitask too, you know.
You're right.
Yeah.
all right, let's move on to the next story. Oh, a little bit behind tonight here, but that's okay. Great panel as usual, and lots of comments too. There was a fire this week here in the area, actually just about 4 kilometers that way in Hammonds Plains. Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday night. The owner, it was a retired couple that lived in this house up in the Kingswood subdivision. He was saying that he took him 40 minutes to get the 911 call in and get a fire truck there. Now the fire station is a kilometer that way, and the house is that way, so they have to pass in front of the house. But anyway, it doesn't take 40 minutes. It takes at most 7-8 minutes for the fire truck. They're really quick. Today, you had the minister, you had a few people on the radio and stuff saying that the 911 system works. They only received 1 call from the individual, and everything was working fine. The owner of the house was saying that he was getting a recording because in Nova Scotia, we share the 902 area code with Prince Edward Island. And because we're running out of numbers, we got a brand new area code a couple months ago, and now we got to put the area code in front of the phone numbers. So we got to prefix the area code for local calls now.
But you don't have to do that for that stuff.
No, you don't, and that's what they were making really clear today on the radio and on the Twitter, the EMO Twitters. You don't have to do 902, 911.
That's the whole point of it.
911. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking in this poor situation, he's seen his house being burnt down.
He might have panicked.
Fingers weren't hitting the right buttons, and it was just taking him longer to get it, which is very possible.
It's absolutely unfortunate, but what you have to look at, like, because I was giving this some thought, and I'm like, okay, your house is burning down, and you're trying to make sure that your spouse or whatever is out of the house safely, and so on and so forth. There's 911, 611, 411, 311, and 211. Now, how easy would it be to hit another series of X11, of which you would absolutely get some type of recording. I know, for instance, 311, you have to press 5 to speak to an agent or whatever, and in the heat of, pardon the pun, in the heat of the moment, could he have hit the incorrect series of digits to kind of, point him somewhere else?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And it seems like they were very quick to say that, and I think I heard one report saying that they got 3 calls from the guy, and they all were handled properly. So, the calls got through, and he was saying that he was getting a recording to add the area code, and then he was getting a busy signal and stuff. I think with the stress, as you say there, the stress and stuff like that, he just, user error, as we say in the IT world, right?
Yeah.
Carrie, Keith, Dan, what do you guys think about this situation? 911, area codes.
Well, as far as I know, I mean, like you said, that there's absolutely no need to have the prefix for it. That's the whole design purpose of it. That's a national-based international in the sense of the fact that it's same set of numbers used in multiple countries. And in fact, I think they're all in the U.S. are even trying to set legislation in regards to cell phone usage and that, because there's always the issue of being able to target where you're calling in from, along with a lot of the Skypes and that. So, but aside from all those details, I think I agree with you. It must have been user error at some point, because I can't see a system that works so well just suddenly randomly failing on one instance.
Yeah, and I visited the 911 call center, and for some other emergency training there for radio operators, but a few years ago. But there's people there all the time, and you don't get a busy signal. Calls are locked and all that stuff, so it's very difficult to have that situation there. So.
Yeah. One thing, Jim, is that time is either compressed or elongated in a time of crisis. You know what I mean?
Oh
if
yeah.
you're having a panic situation, time is either short or it's very long, and he may have had that moment of time space that he didn't understand or he was thinking about.
And you know what happens sometimes when you're trying to do something in a hurry, in a panic, and it doesn't go wrong.
Right.
It just compounds itself even more, and logic goes out the window. I'm not saying that was the case, but it would be very likely when you're watching your house burn down.
Oh yeah. Oh, it'd be terrible. I see Krista has jumped into our hangout, trying to get all set up here. How's it going, Krista?
I'm good, thank you. Very nice to be here.
All right. Krista's getting ready.
And
Did you escape the party? Did you escape the party?
You know what? I had to flee the party because I got into an argument with someone sitting across from me, and it got awkward. So it's time for me to go.
Aha! Yeah.
Smash!
I'm gonna come home and drink.
Did you have a lot of opinions?
I may have had a few opinions, yes.
And another thing.
It wasn't quite that bad, but it wasn't. At one point I said, we're going to have to stop talking about this because I am not going to be able to explain things in a way that will make sense to you. It was about Bill Cosby and all this unpleasantness that's going on there. And he's like, well, we should see about the courts. I'm like, you know what? We need to stop talking about this because there's no way that as a woman I'm going to be able to explain this kind of stuff in a way that's ever going to convince you that any of these things actually happened.
Who brings up Bill Cosby in a...
At a Christmas dinner party? That's probably like a really great question. We could spend another 2 hours talking about what just transpired at the party.
Well, we need to talk about his race relations.
We have not talked about race enough, but I just want to make sure I have come back and I've immediately opened a bottle of beer, so I'm drinking some Butcher Black Red from our friends up at Tatamagouche Brewing.
Nice. I have not tried that.
I like it.
Nice.
Excellent. Keith picked up some stuff today, I think, from Tatamagouche.
I got some Dreadnought, some lager.
I'm looking forward to their RR number 2.
Their lager is very it's good. It's a good session beer.
Nice.
Goes down very easily.
I've also formulated a list of opinions.
Hey!
You have your opinion fuel and your opinions?
Front and back.
Oh, jeez. Look at that. All right, before we get to your opinions here, we're going to quickly give a quick shout-out to some of the friends of Avoiding Chores here. And Garrison Brewing, we mentioned earlier here, they got their Spruce beer delayed by a week. They had some issues with the bottling line, so we got to hold off for another week. Now, personally, I'm a big Spruce beer fan, so I buy it, the case, and it's awesome. However, I'm going to have to budget because they've been aging last year's Spruce beer, which was excellent, by the way, in Jim Beam barrels. So it's going to be very special.
That seems like something that would be very special to both fans of Spruce beer and fans of Jim Beam.
Yes, I just can't wait. So word is it's going to be between Christmas and New Year's, maybe they're going to release that. Or New Year's, it's... Wait and see. You never know with Garrison, right? Once they decide to put it in bottles and stick it out there. So, and then we have the Ladies Beer League. They have their brunch event at Stillwell on December 14th. There's a few tickets left for that. They got Tatamagouche, I think, beer is going to be part of that, and a custom menu for the day. So you better check that out if you are in the Halifax area. PICAROONS, the beer that Keith is drinking tonight. Check out their new glassware at the Brewtique, along with their winter warmer, which is hitting the shores of Prince Edward Island as we speak.
Jim, can I jump in there and ask you a question just to verify?
Yes.
Did I see on the Twitter world that on the 23rd of December, all of the taps are going to be at Stillwell PICAROONS? The 12 days of Christmas?
Yeah, you would be correct. Stillwell Beer Bar, December 23rd. If you never had PICAROONS, never had their full lineup, and plus some other goodies.
Yeah.
It is a good time.
Merry Christmas to me.
Oh, look at what you're drinking tonight.
I know.
And we got a few more here. We got Hell Bay Brewing out of Liverpool. They got some new equipment. They increased their capacity, their mash tun. You can go to their Facebook pages, check out those pictures. And Sea Level Brewing up in the valley, Port of the Storm, Porter. You should be able to see that in most of the products in at their breweries. If you want to try a good porter, go and check them out. Really good, and it's a canned beer too. So one of the only in Nova Scotia that is. Oh, yeah, Krista kind of. Oh, say that again, Krista.
Sorry about that. They're the only canned beer in Nova Scotia, aren't they?
Yeah.
Only canned beer in Nova Scotia, which I think is a better product.
Jim, can I ask you a question about? I know I'm asking a lot of questions tonight
about
that Spruce beer. I have a Garrison Spruce beer from last year that I have kept in the fridge all year. In your experience, is that a beer that can stand to be left for a while?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. No. We've had a lot of people who keep. I was speaking to a few that they keep the Spruce beer for a year and do a compare, because they think that the Spruce beer changes year to year. And I asked the brewmaster from Garrison last year. I said, "Do you tweak it?" I said, "No, it's the exact same theory year after year. I don't change nothing."
Well, I've seen some from last year, so I have to figure this out.
Yeah, no, and for me, personal experience. You gotta let the Spruce beer sit for 3 months, and then the taste profile totally changes. It becomes a way more interesting beer. Fresh, the Spruce just knocks you on your ass if you're not used to it, and it's usually a love-hate relationship.
And this is why I have a bottle saved, is because last year I bought a couple of bottles and I cracked one open and I was like, wow, this is totally not what I want, which is strange because I typically do enjoy most Garrison products, and I was like, oh crap. So I was like, no, I'm leaving it for a year and seeing what happens if it just kind of mellows out a little bit, because it was really a punch to the gob, right?
Yep.
And so I'll be intrigued and will buy this year's Spruce beer and see if there's a difference.
You can cellar it.
I can if I had a cellar.
Well, that's the thing that's the big thing with Garrison. I mentioned this in a few hangouts before. Garrison has a lot of the big beers that Garrison has. You can put that in the basement for a couple of weeks, and it'll be a way better beer when you get it right off the shelf. There's always this little hardness to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little raw. But you know, just put it on the shelf or put it in the basement for a month or 2 months, and it would be a way better beer, in my opinion. Okay. And not just for me buying the bottle on launch day and then going back to the brewery and keep buying the bottles, you know, during the lifespan of it being available on the shelf, and say, oh, this has gotten way better over time. So anyway. All right, on Twitter, we got Trudy. Says she had a potholed filler Imperial Stout last night, 9%. Delish. Lots of good stuff here on the beer front. Let's move on to the next topic here, which is, this is a little bit of show and tell here. Let me get set up here. 2014 seemed to be an increase in tattoos. So we're going to do a quick little show and tell here on tattoos that everybody got in 2014.
Why don't some of the panelists show us their 2014 tattoos?
Yeah, who got some tattoos? Who got some ink this year?
Who got some ink this year? Oh,
I got some last year, but not this year.
Well,
I got some this year.
My temple is pristine.
Oh.
Lori's ink is very fresh.
Yes.
Is the scabs?
Yes.
Are the scabs gone, Lori, yet? Or?
It is. It's still a little bit. I can't look. It's still a little bit like a cracked look to it, but it's healing quite well. So it's actually a pitcher plant, which is the Newfoundland official flower of Newfoundland, and around it are the initials of my family members who are no longer with me. But that is tattoo number 1, and I have tattoo number 2 planned for January already. So I am that person that once you get one, you can't. You need to have a second one, and that's me. So
You should get a can of Pringles or something there as well. Then.
I'd like to have a coffee. I'd like to have a coffee cup in one finger, in one hand.
Get a coffee cup on your palm.
Yes, and then a beer bottle on the other one.
Ooh.
I know.
That'd be a very classy way to meet people at work.
I think work would take me seriously because I would have a coffee cup here and a beer bottle here.
Wow, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so let's take a look at the tattoos that everybody got. And it's funny, I've seen a lot of these on people on the streets in Halifax.
That world map one I looked at for a while. I was thinking about getting it myself. Glad I didn't.
Because everybody has it. Why would you want to get that?
I know. I'm already over it.
No. Another one that people did, and I've seen this too, arrows.
That's been going on for a while now, the
popular.
arrows.
Especially
what's it pointing at? That's my question. What is it pointing at? Your arm? What?
Especially the ones here on the back. The arrows on the back. I've been seeing that on the Instagram for a while here. So
you know what? It's nice though. I appreciate the artistry of it all, but
oh yeah.
I don't know.
Next one here, Roman numerals. Now,
I do not get the Roman numeral tattoos.
I don't either.
I think that's a generational thing. I'm gonna willingly call myself old on that.
Yeah.
Yep, same here. Glyphs.
Okay, what is that? Because I've seen those on lots of celebrity people. I also feel like this is something I can call old on because I do not get that.
Me neither. Does anybody have any background on this, or?
To me, it's just a bunch of squiggles, triangles, and circles. I don't.
But it's not like hobbits or something, is it? It's not
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. Old. Moving on.
Keith, before we move on, Keith, the tattoo that you got last year, was it a glyph?
No.
Okay. just let us know if you hit something.
I'll let you know. Don't worry.
That hummingbird one, the one on the left, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that one is a fantastic one.
It's beautiful. I don't know why I would ever get it, but whoever did the work, that tattoo artist is fantastic.
This watercolor effect that tattoo artists are doing are some of these artists are really, really good with that effect.
Yeah, that's my jam.
So we're seeing a few of those hummingbirds. Now this one I do not understand.
I'm calling old.
Yeah, because what if you this is the place where I had my first love and that, and it gets torn down and ends up being like a Chuck E. Cheese afterwards. I mean, that's great.
Angelina Jolie has that. That's her whole shoulder. Is the coordinates of all of her peoples. So it's all of her kids, and then where Brad Pitt is from, I guess, and so she has just this whole shoulder of numbers, and. I get it, but I don't know, it's not for me.
I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't get it. Yeah.
I don't know longitude and latitude.
It would have to be some incredibly charming coordinates for me to want
Yes.
The intricate infinity. I haven't seen too many of these, but
that one looks like something you'd regret.
Yeah.
That looks like something you get when you're 18 and you love the one forever. But you don't. Because you're 18.
He said he would leave the football team for me.
What a waste of an infinity sign.
Now this is a good. This too shall pass. What will pass? What the hell are you talking about?
No, that would be cooler if that was from Lord of the Rings. Like, you shall not pass. That would be much better.
Yeah. Like, what will pass? What, bowel
Kidney
movements?
stones.
Well, this is my question, right?
I think this is something I have to call old on, because if you're going through so many struggles as like a 22-year-old that you need a tattoo that's like, this will all be over someday. Yeah, this will all be over someday because you have to pay a mortgage and taxes. That's what you have to look forward to. Like things.
Thou shalt not pass. Like, that's like the.
It's Gandalf.
Yeah, exactly.
If I saw that, well, I guess I shall not pass.
An Ian McKellen tattoo would be so much cooler than any other.
Exactly.
Diamond outlines. I've seen a few of these.
What?
Meh.
Why?
Meh.
Meh. So it looks like something you would get if you thought Lord was like really relevant.
There's that one that's right beside like the Hello Kitty as well, which is like
Hello. Better.
Especially this one on the wedding.
Yeah, you should definitely get those on your fingers. That doesn't send the wrong message at all.
No. Let's see here. Believe. Like, why? When did believe become the phrase?
Well, it could always be worse. It could be believe.
Yeah.
Believe.
Good Lord.
Believe what?
I don't know.
Whatever you need to believe in, Dan.
Oh man, these things. Heartbeat EKG readings. I've seen a couple of these around town.
I don't get that, but maybe I don't know enough people who have
Heartbeat here, yeah, there should be, yeah.
City skylines.
That one doesn't even make any damn sense.
No, like, what if you hate the city after a while and you want to leave?
But the one that you just scrolled past is actually visual elements of a bunch of different cities.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
It's like the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower. Isn't that the
London Eye is there? Like, it's just like, oh, these are all random things, like a palm tree and a heart. Come on, you are definitely going to want to get that lasered off in about 20 years.
No, the next one gets me angry. Hashtags. Fucking hashtags.
Yeah, why?
Ugh.
That's so regrettable. But these are things that you do when you're 16. And I don't even know how you get a tattoo when you're 16.
That's not a pound sign, guys?
Exactly.
Yeah. I remember that was number...
Powder, right there.
No, that was number 3 on my keyboard back in my day.
A thunderbolt and a hashtag. That's fantastic.
That basically ensures you'll never have an office job. Look, Lori. Oh, that's the one you can get for your coffee cup.
Absolutely.
Put it on the middle finger.
I've got a finger one. So,
I would get one there. And get one there on the other side. Do I want coffee? Do I want?
Now these are on the side of the finger. I don't get these. I can understand the underside, but.
That has got to be painful.
What?
It doesn't
What
hurt.
do these folks do for a living? Like, do you not have a job that you have to go to and interact with other people?
Yeah,
well,
you gotta hand people something.
But you don't live in Nova Scotia and get things like that done, because if someone's
but that's different, Keith.
With a finger full of tattoos, it's like, ugh.
That's different, Keith. That one's nice.
Paw prints.
No.
You should get one of those, Lori. Your dog.
Yeah, no.
Just 2 paw prints on your like shin.
No.
You can get a catchy paw print.
Yeah, I'll get Kedgy to put his paw in ink, and then I can have like the actual form, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Feathers.
Hipster.
No.
Yeah, I call hipster on that too. Yeah.
I call hipster.
Geometric stuff. Crazy math.
Well, the one with the wolf is really good. I like the one with the wolf. That is interesting.
Yeah, actually, that one's pretty
that was cool.
Yeah.
I want to see that filled in though. I want to see if they would what the color what that would look like.
And then what else here? We got this one. This one.
Okay, I have to disclose on that one because I actually have a tattoo of a constellation, so we can't.
Oh.
But I got it in 1998, so do your worst.
Okay, wait. Which constellation is it at least?
It's Cassiopeia.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the calculator. Gotcha.
Well, like the W.
Yeah, I know. Like the like calculator. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love constellation tattoos. I was actually, when I came back from South Africa, I was going to get another one of the Southern Cross until I realized, like, on paper, it looks really boring. So I'm like, it's just like a little clump of dots on when you look at the map. So I'm like, oh, I'll go back to the drawing board on that.
Well, everyone's going to think they're Australian.
Yeah,
let's do a quick check on comments here, and I'll give a chance for people who can comment via Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and avoidantchores.com. We'll do a quick refresh and see what's going on here. Very interesting. Now, I'm like Dan. My temple is pristine. However, I do want to put a few pieces.
You have a baby girl. You need to get on that.
I need to. Yes, I know. But now, my biggest problem is where to put it, and I'm in the.
Well, I'd say like go from here down, from neck down, and you're still 100% professional.
Yes. Exactly.
If we come back in January and you've got a tat on your face, we're gonna have that in your
and neck. Don't get anything like here, like on your neck. That's a career limiter.
No.
That's an old lady frightener.
Thug life right there.
Yeah. Go for the single teardrop.
Yeah.
Or the one just right across your neck, like here, so people can read it when they have to look at you.
Yeah.
Or the one that looks like your throat's been slit, with the staples and all that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You're giving them ideas, guys.
That's a timeless look.
Keith, do we have any comments on votingchores.com or anywhere else?
Bluefin says, back again. I will download the podcast on Monday as I'm missing a few parts of the show. I brewed a pumpkin beer back in August, and I just tried it 3 weeks ago, and it was much better than the last batch that only sat for 6 weeks.
Nice.
That's it for Avoiding Chores.
Oh, okay. Carrie, anything on the YouTube side?
Just one thing. Laurie, GC Stormer's pointing to Laurie and saying that he's drinking a 2012 Garrison Spruce tonight. He also has a bottle of 2013. And I would say that some of the best beers that I've made, if you let them sit for a little bit longer than whatever those chemical factory beers are, they always are better tasting.
I'm really excited about the U889. I gotta tell you.
I'm really excited to drink your U889.
I think it'll be fabulous.
Oh, Dan just tasted the North Milk Stout.
Ooh.
And?
Ooh.
Really?
Oh. It's good.
Very good. Very good. It's the first time I've ever had that.
Wait, does this mean I'm going to have to leave my house tomorrow and buy some?
Yes.
You have no choice.
Get everything they have. Hey, I gotta say, North has been up in their game for the last few releases. There, they've been working hard.
You know what? I've got a lady growler with the Bridge Brewing branding on it, and I've got to go trade it in. I feel terrible. I still have it sitting on my couch.
I got 4 of the original Bridge ceramic growlers still.
Ooh, ceramic.
Mm-hmm.
Which cracks under pressure. That's why they switched to glass.
Yeah,
It's just
That's
human.
why I kept it. All right, next topic here. The AK-47.
Oh, I'm so glad we did not miss this.
Man, it got a rebrand. It is now a weapon of peace.
Hug them with lead.
You could call smallpox a dandelion if you wanted to, but it would still be smallpox.
Now I gotta say the new model that they're showing off there, or one of the photos that you'll see there, it's kind of nice looking. But man, I gotta tell you, I don't know why they needed to do a rebrand.
Well, this was my question. Like, is an automatic machine gun suffering for sales? Like, really? Really?
It's probably what the most mass-produced.
Yeah.
Automatic rifle on the planet.
I assume if your war or armed uprising does not have a Kalashnikov or like an AK-47, then it is like a really shitty one.
Yep.
It's
you're
like
not legit
right.
unless you have the Kalashnikov. That's right.
Right. If you don't have an AK-47, when you're revolution, you're nobody.
Yeah. like the 18.
You're on the wrong side of that revolution if your side does not have those.
I know. We all watch.
I should Wikipedia that stuff before I say things like that. That is, history is not going to be on my side with that statement.
You were correct.
I know all of us were watching the 18 TV series back in the 80s, and what were they carrying? AK-47.
Gold jewelry and a bossy attitude.
Yeah, but
a glass of
Jim,
milk.
The 18 wouldn't be a good commercial for the AK-47 because they never hit anything with it. Really.
That's true.
Other than
aim was
tanks.
terrible.
The only thing they ever hit was fuel tanks.
Yeah.
They didn't need aim. They had witty rejoinders. They were fine.
And they could build stuff.
Actually, that brings up the debate. A-Team versus MacGyver.
No, 18.
No, MacGyver.
I don't know. I'm an introvert. I dig what MacGyver had going on that way. I like the idea of being super resourceful.
Because the problem with the A-Team is, like, have you really gone back and watched it?
Oh, it's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. But MacGyver, you can actually get through an episode, but A-Team, you can't.
I don't know.
Any show you really liked 20 or 30 years ago, probably may or may not want to go revisit it. Do so at your own risk.
Yeah.
With the exception of WKRP, which totally holds up.
Totally.
Or Star Trek.
The AK-47, the Kalashnikov, 1947. Like, it's been a model that's been sticking around.
Well, there's a reason why. The fact that you can grab bullets out of dirt, blow them off, shove them in, bang, 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 go.
You can't?
It's almost indestructible.
Clearly,
yes.
My automatic weapons game is lacking. So that is very good to know.
Yeah, Gary, his online name is Gunner, or STA Gunner there. So have you played with that rifle, Kerry?
No, but I've heard some trials before in the early 80s between when we were switching rifles in the Canadian Forces.
Yeah.
And it was one of those ones that was in content in the contest, but it didn't make it because the source was the problem. In between the modified M16 or the AR-15, whatever you want to call it.
The C7.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, from the FNC one, which was a heavy rifle, to that lighter rifle, it was a good choice. And I'm going to say that for like Clint Eastwood said, puck, 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 puck. When you hear the sound of an AK-47, you know the enemy is close.
I mean,
Heartbreak Ridge.
That is grim.
It worked on just for the accuracy, but I mean, for durability, I mean, the AK-47 is a hard rifle to beat.
But when the enemy is doing this, right? They're standing behind their hole going, they're not even looking where they're shooting.
Yep.
Trying to do that. It's bullets down range. That's all it is.
Yep. And the AK-47 does it better than any.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing to bring to this other than a traveling tale of being an idiot in a foreign country. As far as a weapon,
is that it, or
no? When I went to Guatemala, I had one pointed at me at the airport, and when you arrive in the airport, you get off the plane and you go through a door, and before you clear customs, the first thing you're greeted with is these doors open, and it was all of these soldiers, like 10 soldiers standing there pointing machine guns at you. And so when that's the greeting, like as a weapon of peace, it's really effective because there is no way you're going to mess with anything. That is.
Now, out of curiosity, how old were they? Were they like teenagers as well, or?
Oh, in Guatemala.
Just like hands shaking the rifles.
How old was I? No, you know what? They would have been like civil servant soldiers, so they were probably in their like 20s, 30s at that point.
They're just enforcing the entry rules into the country.
Yeah.
That's all they're
Well,
doing.
Because I remember when I was at the Dominican, that around the resort that I was staying at back in '93, that there was a lot of guards carrying the AK-47s, just walking around the perimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone in Guatemala was armed. I was there a couple of years after the Civil War ended in the 90s, so it was still really tense. But everyone was just armed to the teeth, and that really makes an impression on you. As someone who has not been in the military, I don't have any kind of military or weapons training. So it is a very effective weapon for not messing around with people when that's what.
And we should say in the hangout. Yeah, we should say in the hangout here, Carrie has been in the Canadian Forces previously, and Dan is currently in the Canadian Forces, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a Kalishnikov story, but I cannot tell it in the hangout. I will tell it sometime, not here.
All right, offline story. Yes, those are the best ones.
Blade Toilers After Dark.
After dark. Offline and after dark.
All right.
I would like to thank Dan and Carrie for their service in doing something that Americans do that Canadians don't do enough. When they see someone in uniform, they thank them for their service.
Good point.
So true.
It gives me feelings when I'm in the States, and I'm really disappointed we don't do it in Canada enough. Because when you're going through New York, anytime you see a police officer or like a firefighter or something, there is like a line of people standing there to shake their hand, and it's I get all in my feelings.
Not just New York. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that they do that we don't do here, which is kind of sad, in that vein. However, we can probably talk about it once Fantino gets the boot from the cabinet or gets shuffled in a couple weeks or a couple months, and we can dedicate a whole segment on that. But let's move on to the next topic, kids, because we're in overtime mode, but we're getting close. But we only have one more story here. Well, actually, we got two more stories. We can run through them pretty fast here. This is a great one here. I'm sure everybody
It's
wants
goddamn creepy is what it is, Jim. I've had my Unobtainium, and
can you
it's
see the
fucking
notes?
creepy.
These are the notes I wrote.
It's in reverse.
All I can say is, how many old Yankee candles does it take to mask that scent? Wow.
So a Canadian, family in Hamilton. Who has a better summary than me? Because the Belgian dark is hitting me.
The fucker's crazy. That's all I have to see. The goddamn fuckers are crazy.
I don't know where it was, other than Canada, but all I know is that someone had a dead body sitting in their house for 6 months because they were waiting for that person to be resurrected, and that is barking insane.
And they sealed up the room with saran wrap and tape and shit, and to keep the scent out, and I mean the gentleman that died was a diabetic, and
there's
so
no
on and
way
so forth.
he asked for any of this.
No, he didn't. And his
worst. It's like the worst episode of the week
at
Bernie's.
Well, it's like CSI, but fuck.
At least they went to the beach.
Yeah.
And it's just, and she fully expected him to rise from the dead like Lazarus. And I mean, they had kids and family members. It was an extended family who stayed in this home, and they basically saran wrapped up the room and let him just kind of decompose for 6 months because she thought he was going to rise from the dead. There is levels of cracked here that I can't even comprehend.
So this
I respect that other people have different traditions when it comes to the death and the passing of others in their families. I respect that different cultural traditions have different things they do, but what was that? I mean,
yeah. And it's they stopped paying their mortgage, and they were like, well, eventually they'll kick us out and find his body, so all right, let's go for it. Let's stop paying the mortgage.
I mean, the best thing I can say about it is that it was a poorly conceived plan.
And I could understand, not condone, but understand if they were collecting a check or something, because that happens, where you have an elderly parent or a spouse that dies, and they get a pension check. And the family member is like, "Oh, Jesus, it's my revenue stream. We're not going to let anybody know that they've died." And I mean, that's even happened here in Halifax, where like,
I'm pretty sure just made a movie about this. So.
Come on.
Yeah. But this wasn't even that. She just fully expected him to get up off the bed and come down for like scrambled eggs and toast. Like, I don't get it.
I could have seen like he gets up and goes, "Oh, Jesus, fuck! Why did you guys throw me in the morgue? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Look at me!
I smell really bad.
I've been trying to get
crap,
out of
it
this
fell
room
off.
for like 3 days, and you saran wrap me in. I've been like trying to like scrape away at it, and that was like 3 more days I have wasted in this room.
In Hamilton, Ontario.
It's just a whole level.
Sadly, I can totally see that happening in Hamilton, Ontario.
Is it like really religious there, or like really?
Oh
depressed?
no, just enough toxic fumes to warp the mind.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a lot about Hamilton, but a friend of mine and Lori's is from there, and she does not make it sound that crazy.
They got to her.
Well, I'll tell you what's crazy. Belgium.
That's not crazy. This is a wise strategic
have
decision.
potato fries declared cultural heritage.
It should be a UNESCO heritage something. In my
I am on board with this. Belgian fries are amazing.
Belgian fries needs UNESCO designation.
Put them in a cone. You put a cone. Put some ranch.
Yep.
What are Belgian potato fries if not fries? Because aren't fries potatoes anyway?
They are fries.
No,
the Belgians were the originators.
No, they said Belgian potato fries.
Well,
Right.
they're
Versus,
French
like,
fries. But,
Okay, let's
French fries are Belgian.
Let's get Carrie in there. Carrie.
I've had French fries. I've had Belgian fries. I've had those cone fries. But when you take a potato and put it in oil and you fry it and you put it in that cone and then you put a little bit of mayonnaise on it.
And sweet mayonnaise too.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It is good. It is good. And if Belgium is saying that theirs are the best, I'm going to say theirs are the best because
I'm on board with that.
I've had a couple touring Europe, and the potato is that potato, and the mayonnaise makes their frit the best.
If I was giving advice to Belgium, I would tell them to double down on the waffle, but if they want to go with fries, that's also okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now locally, there's the Tin Pan food truck. They do the Dutch fries, which is the same thing. Fries in a paper cone with a whole bunch of different mayo, sauces, whatever on it.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yes, they do.
It's awesome.
So out of curiosity, for Canada, what is our heritage food? And please don't say it's a half-empty can of maple syrup.
It's a mostly full can of maple syrup.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I would say if I wanted to pick something very uniquely Canadian, I would pick something like the ketchup chip.
Oh, you know, it should be like moose blubber or something like that.
No, it shouldn't be moose blubber. It should be something that you can only get in Canada, like ketchup chips.
That's true, though.
Bastion seal meat.
No, I don't want to eat that. I would much rather.
Well, he said only Canada.
Yeah, but it also has to be something I want to eat.
Oh, okay. I think pizza has a Canadian pizza. How's that?
No.
That's just pizza with pepperoni, green peppers, and mushrooms. I really hate to disappoint you. Sometimes it has bacon on it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our Wayback Machine segment. 1999.
That was a great year.
Everyone
was terrified of Y2K.
That's right, they were.
I was on a committee at my employer at the time. I was on a Y2K committee, and we met every week to talk about all the ways Y2K was going to mess us up.
I was doing IT at a company during that time frame, so...
Me too. That was a lot of money spent for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Everything was fine.
Mhm.
Yep, I remember Canadian Tire. You could get a lot of generators and stoves dirt cheap in January
Yeah.
of 2000.
A few things that happened in Canada during that time. Brian Tobin was re-elected in Newfoundland. The sponsorship scandal started.
God,
Back
that was that long ago. My God.
Yeah. Julie Payette boarded the International Space Station back then, being the first Canadian. Bernard Lord snuck in to Lee, New Brunswick for a number of years and screwed up the province.
Well, you know what that guy is doing now, right?
How many boards he's on right now?
He's the chair of the telecommunications
Yeah.
lobby for the country. So every time your cell phone or your telephone bill or your cable bill goes up, you can thank that guy.
Yeah, and he has no bones about it. Let's see what we got here.
Columbine happened that year.
Was Columbine? Did that happen that year?
1999.
Napster also was created that year. If you're into the internet.
Wow.
On a personal note, that was the year I got married. Love you, dear.
Hey! I found out today I know your wife.
Yes, you do.
Oh shit! I gotta go. See you guys. Wait! I need details. How do you know my wife?
I work with her.
Yeah, same department.
Really?
Wow.
Oh shit.
And you know how I found out? Because a mutual coworker of ours watched the Hangout last week and went like, "Hey, like, do you guys know how you're all connected?" I'm like, "No, but that's a very Nova Scotian way to explain it."
Yeah. Well, the thing is also the last name Dimidaros is such a popular name in Nova Scotia, let alone the country.
It's also a very Nova Scotian way to say that's not a name from around here.
Oh yeah, I'm an outsider. I'm one of those.
That's all right. We love
I'm an immigrant.
We're all immigrants, mostly, except for First Nations people.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you guys move on here. My dog's outside and he's barking crazy here, so I'll let you guys continue the conversation here for 30 seconds. What else happened in '99? What else happened in '99?
JFK Jr. died in a plane crash that year, and it was so devastating that a friend of mine called me the morning it happened and woke me up out of bed to make sure I knew about it, because I had a very, at the time, would be considered inappropriate thing for JFK Jr. So she called me at like 6:30 in the morning to make sure I'd heard about the news, because she didn't want me to find out from turning on the television.
He had quite the coif of hair.
He had magnificent hair.
It
was luxurious and flowing.
I noticed that the impeachment proceedings were brought against President Clinton at the time, too, for '99.
Yeah. Bill's got to be Bill. Yeah. Can't fault him for that.
And for those who want to block it from the memory, Star Wars Episode 1 came out that year.
You know what? I made a note of that as well, and I remember at the time going, I do not get this. And the Jar Jar Binks thing struck me as being very odd, and then it was like, oh, look, that's a thing. Too. And then I was like, oh, this is actually incredibly racist. And then eventually, like everyone else, I feel like caught up to that. And it was like, oh yeah, it is actually wildly racist.
Yeah.
But '99 was a great year for movies, though. You think of Fight Club, American Beauty,
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Shakespeare in Love. Hello. They were in love.
Yeah. The American Pie.
Oh.
MySpace came out in '99, and it's gone.
Justin Timberlake still has a lot of money on MySpace, so it's coming back.
Sure.
Office Space was 1999.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Classic Office Space.
That is just the best.
That's awesome.
You missed a lot of work lately. Well, I really haven't missed it.
I don't think I've missed it. I love that. Let's just keep talking about Office Space. That's fine.
We can apply Office Space to like daily routines.
I work in offices.
I have a red sling line stapler for that very reason.
We
Really?
have like Case of the Mondays type folks in my line of work quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I believe
got
it.
a Case of the Monday.
Yeah.
I may be able to name a few of them.
I'm gonna need you to stay tonight.
Yeah. That's my favorite scene where he's doing it and the coffee mug comes out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Two movies. There are two movies on this list in 1999 that I'm looking to hear that really that affected me a lot. The Blair Witch Project, which I saw in theaters.
That was
Throw up.
that was fucking stupid at the same time.
That was crazy. The other one. So Blair Witch made me cry. The Iron Giant made me cry.
Yes. Was that 99?
That was 1999. That one made me cry.
Brad Bird.
Brad Bird, Vin Diesel. Who knew?
I've heard nothing but good things about it. Vin Diesel aside, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It is a great animated movie. I recommend it. I don't know if it's on Netflix. If it is, watch it tomorrow. It is worth it.
For those who don't know, I was gonna say, for those who don't know Brad Bird, as far as just his take on stuff, he started off a lot of his career doing episodes of The Simpsons.
He was in The Simpsons, yeah.
And then this was his first foray into a feature film. And for those who haven't seen that one, you have to see his other piece de resistance, which is The Incredibles. Which is an amazing, amazing movie. It's like one of my top 5 movies of all. And then he also did a couple other ones, like when the Mission Impossible, like I think the Ghost Protocol one, which is his first live action one.
Live action,
yeah. That's his first live action, which is actually a really good movie too. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely Brad Bird's fantastic.
I love Simon Pegg more than I dislike Tom Cruise, so I'll have to see that one.
Yeah, it is well worth it. Like if you don't care for John Woo and all the other stuff, at least see the fourth one, which is Brad Bird's take on it. Really good.
The Blair Witch Project. Lori, I think we may have talked about this on the Camino. The Blair Witch Project kept me out of basements for ages because the scene.
Final scene.
Spoiler alert! When it goes down and there's like the guy standing in the corner, that messed my shit up like for years until present day. Because that's one of those. It's like, why was he in the corner? What's going on? Was he alive? What the hell? Why would you just stand in the corner? What kind of ghost makes you stand in the corner? And it really stuck with me.
For people who don't know, I love horror movies. I love them, but I loathe them.
Sorry, which type of movie? Sorry.
Horror movies, scary movies.
Just horror movies. Okay.
I just love them. And Blair Witch Project, it terrified me to a level I cannot explain. Because the whole time I'm watching it, I am like, I go camping. What would I do in this scenario? And it, like, I would freak out where there was, like, a couple of strips of, like, somebody's shirt and some sticks and a rock outside of her tent. I'm, like, in the theater going, oh, my Jesus, there's a set of sticks and a rock. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, I lost my shit. And I went to the theater 3 times to watch that movie, and every time I'm like, oh my God, it's a scarlet stick. Like, it was ridiculous. And I saw the second one, and I don't know if there was a third one, but I did go to the theater to see the second one, which incidentally was a pile of shit outside of a tent. As opposed to a pile of sticks. So, but the first one, like...
I apologize for that, by the way.
But really, I'm like Krista. I couldn't go to a basement for an age because I fully expected somebody just to be in a corner in the basement, just like there,
standing in the corner, doing nothing, just waiting to die.
Yeah. Nope. Okay.
You know what helps that? A bit of sea level or sea fever rum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, one more thing I want to mention for 1999. I actually just read it up here as well. Is that's actually the year that None of It began existence.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. So that was, at least for Canada, the big deal is the
That's a
latest
huge deal.
sort
That
of,
was our newest territory.
Yeah.
And Wayne Gretzky,
Yeah,
number 99, retired in
retired.
99.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
I don't care. I didn't like him anyway, so
Oh,
I was
that
a Mark
guy.
Messier fan. I like to.
Yeah, so 99, not a lot of stuff news-wise, but
Nah.
there's
What?
quite a bit of-
Y2K!
Why? Nothing happened.
Y2K is the reason why the next version of Windows isn't going to be called Windows 9.
Alright,
They did such lazy coding in all of the preceding versions of Windows that they can't use something with a 9 in it.
Now, the thing that caps 1999, really, Krista, is the South Park bigger, longer, and uncut movie.
You know what? I would co-sign that. That movie was awesome.
Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
It's
A lot
classic.
of things in that
Wasn't
movie
that
are
the
pretty classic.
Winona Ryder ping pong?
Why was that song not sung during the Academy Awards for Best Song? That should not have been up there.
That's the real travesty.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I was watching a BuzzFeed video tonight, just an hour before the hangout, and they were referencing that movie in one of their videos because they had to do something about Canada. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, let's do a quick. We'll do podcast because we're really on overtime. But podcast review. This is where we talk about a podcast that we listen to, an episode that we want to recommend to people. We all got smartphones. We all got podcast kind of apps, whatever. Podcasts really got really higher quality shows. The one show that we're going to be all talking about, and I think most of us is going to be talking about right now, is Serial.
Goddamn cereal. God damn it.
You have to read this piece that showed up in New York Magazine this week about people that expect closure. It's all about the psychology behind it.
Okay, now from last week, Keith hadn't listened to any episodes of Serial.
Yeah.
He was binge listening all of them. Keith,
How'd that go, Keith?
Yeah, how'd that go after your binge?
I finished. I'm up to date. Well, the newest episode was last night, so yeah, I'm all caught up.
And what do you think?
And
Nah.
what?
No, I like it. I do.
Actually, Krista.
It's very engaging storytelling.
Krista, you can ask my
totally
wife
did.
what she thinks about that, eh? Because I first introduced her shortly after we talked about that, and she's like, this is okay. And then come episode 4 is like, what's going on? What's going on?
I find
Is
it
he?
takes a couple
What's
episodes
with
to
this
really
Jay
get there.
guy?
Yeah.
What's the deal with Jay? Every episode could
Jay.
be called What's the deal with Jay?
Yeah, I think for me it really was like episode 3 or 4 before I actually kind of was like, wow, this is kind of really cool, and now I'm like, holy crap, like when's the next episode? I'm not the I mean, I go to Reddit, but I don't put a lot of time into that. But I certainly look forward to a Thursday, and I like Serial and Serially Obsessed and all of those too, right? So
I will say though, I've made my peace with the likelihood that the outcome is not going to be a really concise ending. I've made my peace with because this isn't fiction, this is real life, and real life rarely ends up very neat and packaged together like that. So I'm very comfortable with where my feelings are about this right now, and I have a lot of sympathy.
that it can be. Yeah, it's not going to be tied up in a bow. It just can't. Like it's unfolding literally as we're going along, and the criminal justice system and the appeals justice system just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that quickly. So if we're thinking that at episode 12 Adnan's in the Bahamas, it's not going to happen.
I think what I leave this with, and what I'm leaving this with now at this point, because like I said, I've kind of made my peace with it, is that you really think a lot about not just the nature of truth, but also the the permanence of memory, things that seem so important at the time and then are gone. Where in this case, so much of what drives the story is dependent on remembering incredibly inconsequential details about your daily life at different points. I mean, you know, they're talking about things 15 years in the past, but at the time when he was arrested, it would have been 6 weeks. I think it was about 6 weeks out. And I mean, come on, like, who remembers the ins and outs of who remembers the minutia of their day?
Yeah.
6 weeks ago.
Jesus, I don't remember yesterday, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and so I think those things were really interesting to me. Also, I've learned a lot about jury trials, and that were I ever to be in a situation where that was my option, I don't think I would take it, because listening to people like reason out what they think happened versus what the law instructs them to think, it was like, oh no, like that is a bad outcome for everybody. Yeah. So I've told a bunch of people now, like, if I ever do anything that gets me in front of the option of having a jury trial, like, no.
And the other thing that I find really fascinating is the time and the location. And Baltimore, during that time, was a really, really tough place. And I had forgotten that until this particular episode when, you know, the judge calls everybody, and I don't want to spoil it, so spoiler! You know, the judge calls everybody up, and they're like, do you have a family member?
When you do jury selection, that was fascinating.
You know, do you have a family member who has been a victim, or you have been a victim of a serious crime, or, you know, in the process of being charged or in jail for, and like there was like a bajillion, and that's an exaggeration, I know, people who are like, yep, I got, you know, attacked at gunpoint, and my uncle and my brother are in jail for first-degree murder, like, and it was like person after person after person, and I was like, that's where I had forgotten that Baltimore was really gritty and really crime-laden then.
Yeah, if you want to see how gritty it is, Google Lincoln Park body map.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's horrifying, the fact that exists. And,
insane.
I mean, that's also where, from a fictional perspective, that's also where The Wire is based. So if you like The Wire, Homicide, Life on the Street, which was an amazing show.
It was.
All right. So that's Serial. Dan, is there any podcast you want to recommend that you listened to this week?
Well, there's another one I listen to. Like, I have a huge playlist of podcasts, and I just go bang, 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 bang through them. And I'll have to admit, I have a lot of love for technology, productivity, and humor. And usually, if you hit all three of them, that's fantastic. But the one I want to focus on right now is called Roderick on the Line, which is for those who know Merlin Mann, who's like a productivity sort of guru out there. And he's good friends with a person named John Roderick, who is the lead singer for a band, The Long Winters, and he's been in all sorts of other bands as well. And they just go over the various misadventures of this John Roderick and all the things that he's gone through his own life. He was born and raised in Alaska, and he talks about all the crap that he's gone through over there, and him walking through Europe. And it's all about storytelling, about things that have gone through their own lives, and it's just very enthralling to listen to it. If I had to say if there's an episode to jump into, because there's 132 to begin with, I would start with one called All the Great Shows, which is episode 125, which is a phenomenal episode to kind of jump in, because it talks about when John Roderick met Dan Hammond, I think that's his name, the creator of the show Community. And
Dan Hammond, yeah.
Dan Hammond, yeah, and it's
Harmon.
Thank you, Harmon, thank you. And you will laugh your ass off listening to that episode. So I highly suggest check out Roderick on the Line and start off with episode 125. You will not be disappointed.
All right, awesome. Excellent. I got nothing new other than the Serial, and the other thing that I learned today on 99% was that the inflatable man that you see at car dealerships, the tubes that dance at
I love those.
Dealerships,
they make me so happy.
That was conceived around the Atlanta Olympics. Who knew?
Ooh.
Who knew?
Which, by the way, they make the greatest Halloween costumes ever. If you ever see anyone dress up like that, it is awesome.
All right. So, do we have any other podcasts we want to push?
I do. I've got a couple.
All right.
Me too.
Okay.
There's a series of Grantland pop culture podcasts, and a few weeks back they did a very long conversation with Bill Murray. And it's interesting for a couple of reasons. One, he doesn't do a lot of media, and he doesn't do a lot of long interviews. It's usually David Letterman and the junkets, and this was a very long conversation that he had, and I'm blanking on who did the interview now, but it was interesting. It's someone that you don't see a lot because he's not in the media and he doesn't do the rounds a lot. So anytime you have the opportunity to listen to something like that, it's always an interesting conversation. The other one is my new favorite, which is the NPR Planet Money podcast.
Yes.
And this week is about Iceland, which is a very recent favorite of mine from this year. But last week's was about North Korea and the hijinks, I guess, that are involved in importing items from North Korea and what that means in the larger geopolitical economic context of it. And it was interesting. They did the equivalent of a Freedom of Information request to the U.S. Treasury Department about anyone who had requested special permission to import from North Korea, because you need the permission of the Treasury Department to do it because there's a trade embargo in place. And it was really interesting. If you're at all process oriented or fixated and you're interested about how the world works in those geopolitical terms, it was a very interesting revelation of how you would get stamps out of North Korea, for example. I've also got a non-podcast item to pitch, but it's something that I really enjoy. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a fancy lady of discriminating taste, but I know sweet F all about sports. And so a site has been revealed to me, and it's called Casual Spectator. And it's disclosure, it's the son of a friend of mine who developed it, but they do a twice-weekly newsletter about basically all of the essential things you need to know about what's going on in sports so that you could carry on a sports-related conversation with someone and have a passing knowledge of it. And like I said, I don't follow sports, but it's actually pretty interesting because the way that they break it down, it's like, okay, this is why this game is important. This is basically what you need to know about it. This is who's picking the winner.
All right, so what's the website, or where do we go?
It's called www.casualspectator.com, and it's a twice-weekly newsletter. They do a midweek and then they do a pre-weekend thing. And like I say, I am sports illiterate basically, but they talk a lot about NFL, which is the sport in which I am the weakest. So it helps, and then it also gives you things. It points out the things that other people will be talking about so that you know what those things are when they come up. Like last weekend there was a very remarkable catch that was made in a sports game on the NFL.
Yes, it was.
And so they explain who it was in very few words, who it was, why it was important, why people will be talking about it. And for someone who is, again, sports illiterate like me, that was super handy because then I don't have to watch sports.
All right. Lori, what do you got? Do you have something you want to push?
Well, I've got a couple. So I'll always go back to Radiolab because I find, on the whole, they're very enjoyable. That's the Patient Zero. It really got me hooked on that whole podcast series, which, if you haven't listened to it, is definitely worth a listen. But the newest one is called Outside Westgate, and it's about in Nairobi, the outside of a mall, Westgate Mall in Nairobi, I think in Kenya, a few years ago, where there was a bunch of terrorists who went in and shot the place up, and it's just a very interesting take. And it was actually one of the reporters, who's one of the guest commentators, who was over in Kenya at the time and was doing reporting from there, and it was talking about how people thought and reported that there were 15, terrorists who were shooting up the place, and then the FBI came in, and there was actually 4, and there was a whole bunch of suspicious stuff that happened, and I won't go into it too much, but it's just a really fascinating episode. So that's the Radio Lab. The other thing that caught my eye was Serial from the British Life. And they have one episode, and I just caught it today, and it's hilarious, and it's a spoof, essentially, of Serial, and it's about a kid who copied E.T., the extraterrestrial, during a drawing contest off a rubber, an eraser. So it's really a spoof, and it's just very funny. And then I just started something called Welcome to Night Vale. And when I say I've started it, I've just started it, and it's the first episode, and I'm not really sure, but I'm going to kind of try to plod through the first couple to see if it hooks me, because I think that they're actually going to have a novel, and it's going to continue into 2015, and the reports have been excellent. So I've just started that one, and it's called Welcome to Night Vale.
Yeah, I tried Night Vale last year, and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Can I also make a pitch? I'm driving to Cape Breton and back in a day this week, so I need some things to keep me company in the car. So if anyone wants to recommend individual episodes of podcasts,
well,
holla at your girl at
I do suggest that one that I mentioned about John Roderick on the line. But also I want to thank you about Canada Land as well.
Yes!
I'm a big fan of Jesse Brown. I used to love him back when he was on TVO. He had his own sort of news sort of talk show and that, and I didn't realize he had his own podcast, so I'm really glad that you introduced that to me. So.
If you're a fan of Canadian comedy, a few weeks back he talked to Mark McKinney from Kids in the Hall, and it was awesome.
Nice.
And all it made me want to do was like call up Mark McKinney and tell him all about my idea for my TV show.
Does it involve bananas?
It's called Local Idiot.
Right.
Close enough.
Oh, there you go. All right, with that, let's cap it off for the night here. We'll do one last check of comments. Carrie tapped out. Keith, do we have any other comments? Last check before we go out? I think
Blue Fan, of course, said great show again tonight, gang. See you all next week. I have to go to work at 5:30 a.m. Take care.
Oh,
all right.
We'll be there with you, only in spirit.
Yeah, I'll be asleep.
All right, excellent. With that, we're going to.
Actually, I just want to say one thing. The Belgian milk, fantastic. I have thoroughly enjoyed this one. I was so on the Belgian IPA, but the other one really good. I do highly suggest that one. So I mean, 2 drunken thumbs up or 3 if you're drunk.
6 thumbs up.
Okay, now it's like a gang sign now. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. So thank you, North Brewing Company.
All right, excellent.
Garrison, if you'd like to supply the next one, you're on notice.
Well, next week they'll have those Spruce, so you'll be able to have something there. All right, that's it.
I will have my Christmas tree up, so I'll be situated behind my Christmas tree next week.
Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater to go with it?
I do not, but I have a I have a garland made of wine corks, and it is extraordinary.
Oh, exquisite.
All right, that's it, folks. We'll do this again next Friday. Thank you, everybody, for watching us tonight. Thank you for the panel. Great as always. We'll see you guys next time.
Spay and neuter your pets.
All right. Bye-bye.